LOP in the building. My life been a movie, I should've filmed it. Nicely with the pen game. Pops taught me the spit game. Get your cameras ready, we heavy catch when I'm in frame. Produk, opinionated, but I'm coming through smooth with it. I be kicking facts, you could Google it. From the block to the booth, hear the truth, just another lane lock. I'm a Crown Heights legend, still repping the same block. Whoa.
You are now listening to the Life of Produk podcast.
Yeah, what up, man? It's the boy Produk. You are now locked into the Life of Produk podcast. This is episode 13. Don't laugh at me, but I had to stop and think for a minute because I don't know, maybe old age is kicking in. You know what I'm saying? I've been losing track of things, whatever. But shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to the listeners, man. Your support is crazy. I do this for y'all. I really, really love y'all, genuinely. Your reposts, your shares, your retweets, everything. You put me in your story, shouting me out. You guys rock. Y'all rocking out with the kid. And shouts out to the streaming platforms that picked the show up. When I started, I was just a fish with a big voice trying to swim in a big ocean. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here. I'm on deck. I'm getting it popping with y'all. Today's episode 13, I want to talk to y'all about loving and letting go, which is actually very hard. And I'm speaking from experience. You have to, depending on what it is, you have to know when you run your course with it. You have to know when to let go of certain shit. We always try to, as people, not everybody, but a lot of us, we tend to hold on to things and try to drag things out. And sometimes it might take our friends and family from the outside to look at us and say, yo, you messing up, because it becomes exhausting. And not only for us, but for our loved ones, it becomes exhausting. We always try to, for some reason, tend to hold on to certain things or people and always hold on to what we had with that person or that thing. And I think I've said this before in a previous show, and I've said this to people in conversations. We change every 10 years. Every 10 years, your life changes. You grow every 10 years. When you were 10 years old, when you became 20 years old, you were not the same person as 10. You were a child at 10 years old. At 20 years old, you were a full adult. You understand what I'm saying? So as we grow in life, we need to grow emotionally. We need to grow stronger emotionally to know when to let go of certain things. And this comes to people as well. Look at relationships. We've all had bad relationships. We've all had relationships that crashed. We've probably been cheated on. We've probably been the cheater. We've probably been in situations and relationships where you were just there killing time. It was running its course. Many of us, and I'm speaking from experience, have been in relationships where it was pretty much over. You just stayed for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Which is actually, oh man, that's a whole nother conversation in itself. We gotta get into that another time. But look how many times we've been in a relationship with somebody and we stayed because we wanted to hold on to that person. You loved that person. You loved the thought of that person. You loved that person so much you did not want that person to move on and be with somebody else. And you know what's crazy? That is fucking selfish. It is. It is very selfish. It is selfish to that person because why would you want that person? Now, it took me years to understand this, right? Why would you want that person who you love or loved to stay with you while they were unhappy? Why? Think about the strain you're putting on that person emotionally and mentally to try to force them to stay with you when they no longer want to be with you. That shit is crazy. It's very selfish, yo. It's so selfish to ask that person to stay in an unhappy relationship with you. Now, there's all kind of circumstances to that it might have, say it was a situation when you guys were together for years, the love started dying down. It's not working no more. You guys may have argued a lot. You guys might have disagreed. The finances was bad, all kind of shit. There's so many factors to make relationships go bad, or somebody might have cheated. You know what I'm saying? Say if that person cheated on you and you're still trying to quote unquote give them a chance, but they don't want to take that chance. They want to move on. That person is not feeling you no more. They are not feeling you no more. They do not want to be with you. Say if it's a situation where you guys did love each other, you tried, but the arguments are there, the disagreements are there. You guys are not getting along. It's not working. That person does not want to be with you. It's very disheartening to be in a relationship and not want to be with a person anymore. And I'm speaking from the other side. It's disheartening to be in a relationship, not want to be with that person no more, but that person does not want to let you go. If you love someone, you need to let them go. And that's a true statement. And I've heard the older folks say that. There's been songs about that. You have to love and let go. If you let that person go, that person will grow a higher level of respect for you. If they're a real person. See, motherfuckers ain't real no more. There's people that be on a real childish wave that don't want to let you go. And that is selfish, because there are people out here that are so used to having their way that they are willing to keep you in an unhappy relationship with them just to make them happy, for them to feel secure. And that is not the way you want to go. That's not the wave to ride. You can't do that shit. You can't ask a person to stay with you when that person is totally unhappy. It'll go from it'll turn to resentment. That person will start to resent you. It'll turn to hatred, to anger. That person will feel anger with you. That person will start associating all forms of anger when they hear your name, when they see a picture of you, when you pop up on their phone. Because you'll start annoying that person. You'll push that person back against the wall. And that person will start to feel like you are forcing them. You don't want to, that's the last thing you want to do. If you really love somebody, right? And that person does not want to be with you no more, do not force anything on them. If they do come back to you, let it come naturally. Let it come naturally. Maybe you guys will take a year apart and that person will start to miss you. Maybe that person will say, you know what? I took this year away from this person. Let me get back. Let me get back the way it's at. Now, if that person doesn't come back, you can't be mad at that person. You cannot be mad at that person. That person might have not wanted to be with you no more, and they did you a favor. They might have did you a favor. They might have helped you push the envelope for your life to put you on the next level. And that's another thing too. That person might have did you a favor to where, see, when I say that person might have did you a favor, right? A lot of y'all are going to listen to this and be like, yeah, he did me a favor or she did me a favor. I leveled up. I'm doing better than them. No, it's not about you leveling up and doing better than them. It's about leveling up in general for yourself. You owe it to yourself to level up. It's not about wanting to level up just to do better than that person. If you want to level up just to do better than that person, you were still at a very low, immature level. What you're thinking, you are. Because you leveling up should not be to do better than that person. You owe it to yourself to be better and to do better. You owe it to yourself to be great. Maybe that person didn't want to be with you anymore because they knew they needed to be great. And they knew they couldn't be great by being with you. And that might be, you know what? There might be somebody right now on the other side of this listening to this, and that shit's gonna hit them. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hit them home, yo. It's gonna hit them in their chest. Like Kevin Hart said, feel it in your chest. Say it with your chest. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt you. It's and I get it. I totally get it. It's gonna hurt you. But guess what? You need to hear that. Somebody in your life needs to keep it real with you and let you know, yo, leave that person the fuck alone. Let that person move on. Let that person be great. Because we sometimes will hold on to the memories of when if times were good. Think of a scenario where a man and a woman is in a relationship, marriage, anything like that, whatever, right? And things were great 4 or 5 years ago. Now here we are in 2021, and it's bad. And one of them are holding on to the memories of when it was good, when they used to have date night, when they had great sex, when they would send each other selfies and cute emojis and shit like that. Now you can't fucking stand that person. You know what I'm saying? Now you have nothing good to say about that person. Everything that is associated with aggravation, it's associated with that person. So you're holding on to the memory of that. You have to let that shit go. You can't, it's gonna, the strain you're putting on yourself mentally and the strain you're putting on yourself emotionally is unfair to yourself as a person. And it's unfair to them. It's totally unfair to that person. You can't expect a person to keep staying with you when you are making them unhappy. Or maybe the unhappiness that they have in that relationship might not all be on you. Maybe that person needs to be alone. Maybe that person, they need solitude to grow. It might not be you, and you might not be all of the problem. Some of the problems may be internally with that person, and that's another thing too. Sometimes people go through shit, man. People go through shit to where the mountain that they need to get up, you might not be causing a problem, but they can't get there because you're in their way. They might not have the mental capability or the emotional capability to walk around you and get to the top of that mountain. And this is also a conversation that a lot of people don't have. Some of the problems that people have, it's not always from the other partner in the relationship. It's coming from an internal place. It might be experiences in life that they had. It might be past relationships. They might have brought their past relationship problems into their new relationship, and I've seen that happen. I've dated a person where they was damaged from the past, and she couldn't shake the things that happened to her in the past. She will always equate what happened in the past to us. You know what I'm saying? And it hurt to see her and hear her talk about the things that she went through, but I fucking wasn't with it. You know what I'm saying? So when that ended, I bet, like, I held no emotions towards it. Maybe I should have, but I fucking didn't. I mean, I can't change the past. I ain't gonna fucking go back. Blah, blah, blah. Nah, that shit is over with. But a lot of people, they bring dead weight from what they went through before to their new relationship. That is the last thing you want to do. That's the last, because your new man or woman is not your old man or woman. That person is not that person. That person's turn up button is different. You know what I'm saying? There are women that were in abusive relationships. They were in abusive relationships with men that put their hands on them. They might have been abused verbally. There are men in relationships that were abused verbally by women, but y'all don't never want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? I was in a relationship where I was abused verbally. You understand what I'm saying? What I had to do, and I made sure I did for future relationships, I had to tune that shit out and put that in the past, because not every woman is like that. There are women out here that will generally ride for you. They will go to the fucking moon and bat for you. So not all women are like that. Not all women talk down to their men. And listen up, Black society, not all Black women have the quote unquote Black woman attitude. Some of them are generally fucking nice, and they speak from the heart, and they will treat you like a king. So there are people that have been in these type of relationships, and they always bring, not always, but they tend to sometimes bring that past energy into their new situation. And that is the last thing you want to do. I would encourage anyone listening today to get off that bullshit and leave that shit in the past. Listen, ladies, if you was dealing with a dude and he was, say if he wasn't abusive physically, but he was abusive verbally, he would talk about your weight, he would clown you, he would roast you, and things like that. Chalk that shit up, poke your chest out, get into the next relationship, but look for the signs. You have to look for the red flags. If you remember how he started when he was doing those things to you verbally and emotionally, if you see where he started and you get into the next relationship, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 flags like that, get the fuck out. Get out. Because the last thing you want to do is go through the same shit you went through before. You don't want to relapse emotionally and be back into that dark place, because it will put you in a dark place. It will. It will. I had a relationship years ago where I would put my best foot forward, and this actually pushed me to somewhat be a bad person in this relationship, because in the beginning I wasn't like that. This was years and years ago. In the beginning I was not like that. I was a really good dude, and I was putting my best foot forward. And the verbal abuse was real, and I had never in my life before been through no shit like that before. So I was younger, and I would be literally racking my brain, saying to myself, "Yo, I love this person. Why does she act like this? Why or what did I do wrong?" And it took me. I didn't stay like that forever. I got back in my bag, because I'm a fly ass dude. You understand what I'm saying? So I got back in my bag, but for a short period of time, I used to be like, "Yo, what the fuck? What did I do?" Then I came to the realization it wasn't fucking me. You know what I'm saying? There are people that bring their insecurities into relationships. They bring their insecurity issues into relationships and they put it off on the other person. So they'll talk down to the person, they'll talk aggressive at the person, and that makes them feel bigger. It makes them feel better. It juices their ego. Why do y'all do things like that? My question is, there are people listening right now to this podcast that do that shit. They won't admit it. They won't admit it, but they do. And I want to ask y'all this question. I want y'all to really walk away and think about this. What has happened in your life in the past that was so bad that makes you treat people like that love you? What? Have you ever, also another question, have you ever stopped and said to yourself, damn, I am hurting this person. I shouldn't do this. Because when you hurt people, that's one thing. When you hurt people that love you, it's 10 times worse. Because when you love a person and that person hurts you, it's like a deeper pain. It cuts deeper. It puts you as a person that loves the person into a box of feelings. And it's like, imagine being shrunken into a box and a big ass hand is shaking you up in a box full of feelings and you're all over the place. You don't know what to grab. You don't know how to grasp the shit because the person you love just really fucked you up verbally and puts you in a place to where you don't understand them or you don't understand it. Imagine being verbally talked to a certain type of way and being verbally abused. Now, the next day, this person wants you to love them. Oh, come love me. Let's stay together. No. Fuck no. No. Go love your fucking self. You have to know when to leave. You have to know when to put you first in front of people. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from a recent relationship not too long ago. I had to put myself first and say, fuck out of here. I'm done with this shit. But the thing is, it's not easy. It is not easy. You never know how strong you are until you have to endure shit like that. You never know. You never know. Shouts out to the ladies listening. You guys go through a lot of shit because men are fucked up. We men have put a lot of women through a lot of shit. And I know women, it took them years to gather the strength to leave the fucked up situation that they was in. And men, we shouldn't put women through that shit. We really shouldn't. We really shouldn't. And I'm keeping it 100. Look, man, I got daughters, I got sisters, I got cousins, I got female friends that are like family. We shouldn't put them through that shit. At a certain point as a man is supposed to be a leader. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of us fall short. As a man who is a leader and who has played the leadership role, who has fell short in playing the leadership role, I can say this shit. You understand what I'm saying? As a man, when you are with the woman or you're dealing with the woman, you guys been together for quite some time and shit, you have to know when to put your foot down. Most importantly, you have to know when not to put your foot down. You have to know when to say, let me listen to her. You have to know when to hug this woman. You have to know when to say, you know what? I know I'm right in this situation, but I'm not going to progress that. I'm not going to pursue that shit. I'm going to just let the situation die down. I'm just going to say, okay, because sometimes as a man who is a leader, you have to know when to bring calmness to some shit. And yo, real talk. This is when I was a kid, my pops used to tell me, listen, man, you can't win an argument with a woman. Funny shit. I'm not saying just shut up and be like, okay, you got it. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you have to, the most important thing is knowing when to bring calmness to a storm. You have to stop that storm and calm that storm early on. And that's what real men do. Real men know how to do that shit. Real men know how to bring calmness to a storm, and they know how to put their ego and their pride aside. So you might be 100% right in a situation, but being 100% right up on the forefront and putting it out there is going to bring more damage to the situation. And a real woman is going to take a day or two, calm down, and come back to it and admit when she was wrong. And vice versa. A real man is going to take a day or two, come back to the situation and admit when he was wrong. And that all ties somewhat into the loving and letting go. Knowing how to love and let go shows growth in you as a person. You have to love and let go. It is selfish to always try to force a person into staying in a situation which they are not happy in. Because put it like this, right? Would you, if you love a person, right? If you love this man, you love this woman, right? Say you guys been together 7, 8, 9 years, right? The last 12 months has been bad. It's been bad. Say if the other person, they're going to school, they started a business, they have a career, a craft, anything, and you know that person can't get there if they're with you because all you're doing is consuming their time with arguing. Do you think it's fair to them to keep them in that shit when they have all this potential to grow and blossom into fucking greatness? It's not fair. It is not fair at all. Also, it's not fair to stay in a relationship with a person and you see that person damaged, worrying about what you're doing every day. Sometimes you have to give a person a cold shoulder in order for them to see how great they can be. You have to. If you're in a relationship and listen, I've had to do that shit. I've had to do it. Unfortunately, that person still doesn't fully see their greatness. You know what I'm saying? I know, look, it's a fucking jab. I threw it out there. That's a sub. Sorry. But sometimes that person might not see their greatness. They might not. Also, negative energy will keep that person from being great. The negativity that the person holds in their heart towards a person for not wanting to be with them, and the anger and the hatred is going to keep their soul black, yo. It is. And that's going to fully prevent them from getting where they need to be in life. That person might think that they're getting where they need to be in life. They might think that they're winning, blah, blah, blah. You ain't going to win. You're not going to win until you release that anger, until you release that hatred or whatever you're holding on to from a person, and you're not letting that person go. You're not going to get there. You owe it to yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Look at the relationships with people that have children, forget the situations of a man and a woman that has a child together. What about the situations of a man and a woman that have a blended family? Yeah. What if they have a blended family? What if a man and a woman have a blended family, they come together, and a few years into the relationship, marriage, or whatever, it's not working? Do you think it's fair for children from the man, from the woman, the children from both sides? Do you think it's fair for these kids to witness their parents and the toxicity that's going to go down or is going down between them? It's not fair at all. It's not fair, because ultimately you should always put the kids first, because they ain't asked to be here. The kids need to come first. Look at from this perspective, right? Say if the man and the woman, say if the man has a child, the woman has a child, or they both have children. They come together, put the kids in one household, right? Once that man and woman starts arguing, the kids are going to start arguing. Now the kids feel like they got to choose sides. They're automatically going to flock to their parent, their biological parent. They're not going to always take up the side of the step parent. Kids ain't doing that, because kids tend to love harder than anybody. Your kid will ride for you. Or what if it's a situation where one parent is doing more than the other, going in harder than the other, and the kid sees that, and now they're looking at their parent different. They're looking like, damn, I didn't know you was like that. Why are you doing that? Why are you acting like that? Because these kids feel it. Listen, when we're stressed out, our kids feel it. They feel that shit. I don't care what nobody say. Whatever stress you're going through, whether it be relationship stress, life stress, bad health, finances, your kids go through it with you. They might not always say it, but they go through it with you. When your kid goes in their bedroom and they close that door, they're feeling it. They're crying. They're hurt, because they want to help you so bad, but they're a kid. They don't know where to even start with that shit. So imagine blended families, things go bad, and your kids feeling it. Imagine you blended a family and the relationship you was in before that was bad. It was just as bad. Now your kid is in 2 bad relationships with you back to back. Your child is in 2 bad relationships with you back to back. Do you think that's fair? It's not fair at all. That shit ain't fair. But sometimes we don't anticipate that, but it happens. This is why you have to love and let go. You have to love your child enough to say, you know what? I love this person, but I love my child more. Let me let go. You know what I'm saying? This is a little something I want to talk to y'all about today. I'm hoping that this show actually helped some of the listeners, because I personally know a few people going through this right now. And a lot of this stuff I'm speaking from experience. I'm not going to sell y'all both tickets. Yeah, it's the boy Produk. Life of Product podcast. This was episode 13. I love y'all. Rock out with your boy. Let's get it.